In this video, I'm going to go through briefly how to get Flask to work to create a website. So the next thing we're going to cover this week is going to be Flask. Flask is a library that works in Python to dynamically generate web pages. Okay. So to do this, we're going to have to go to the Ludwig server, which some of you have accounts on and used before, some of you haven't. It's a Linux server. So by class, hopefully I'll have everyone's account. If not, we'll do that in class. Okay. So once you're on, you've created a directory. I've created a Flask directory here. Okay, so you see I'm in my user directory Flask. Okay, and then I've created a program here called Flask Hello World.py. So this assumes that you have some basic understanding of how websites work, but you don't really have to know a bunch, and we'll kind of go as we go. Okay, so the way this works, we've got here our from Flask import Flask. So small f, big F there. Okay. And then we've got app is equal to Flask __ name. Okay. And then there's an app route slash, which points to the root directory. And then we're going to define this function called hello world. Okay. And it's going to return, these are little paragraph tags in HTML, hello world, that's it. And then if __ name is equal to main, it's going to run the app, okay, which just means it's not being called as part of something that's been included, okay. We've been using the main function and calling main. This does the same thing without having to do that, okay. So that's all that it's going to do. So for us, we already have Flask installed. I've installed it on the server, but if you ever had to install it, it's just pip install Flask, and that will install it. See, it's already done, okay. So to run this, okay, we're going to have to run it with the Python. I don't know if Python, I think I have to do Python 3. Okay, with this Flask Hello World program. Okay, once I run it, note that it says a couple of things. This is a server application. Okay, so it's going to start up a web server. It's going to spin one up for us. Okay, and Flask Hello World is going to be the name of the file here. Okay. And it tells us here, don't use it in development, of course, because we're doing it for funsies here, okay? It gives us here an address that it's running on, okay? The 127.0.0.1, which is a local host on port 5000, okay? So this is the local host number on the server, not on your local computer, since we're connected in via a terminal, okay? So I'm going to switch to another window. So if you're on a Windows computer, you'll use PuTTY. You'll have two different PuTTY windows connected. If you're on a Mac, you can either use a terminal, or there's a program I really like called Warp Terminal that works really well. But in any case, open two windows, log in on both. Okay. So I'm now going to switch here, stop the share there, and share on the other one. Okay. So we're now sharing on the other window here. And in this case, it doesn't matter where we're at. We can be in any directory you want. But we're going to run, there's a built-in web server, text-only web browser, a text-only web browser called Links, okay? And I can do links at that address there, 127.0.0.1. That's the local host for Ludwig, it's running on port 5000, okay? When I do that, you see that it gives me the hello world, okay, which is what the code ran, okay? So we'll talk more about it, but I just wanted to have a simple short video to get this part working on Ludwig. Okay. So if you have questions, we'll talk about it in class for sure.